So, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. A game that I wouldn't say I'm exactly obsessed with the game. I have so far played 110 hours at the very least. I've had the game for 2 months, so I'm not sure if I should be proud of that or not. But anyway, on to this video's topic. We all have mains, secondaries, and blah 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 if you play Smash. You couldn't tell by the fact I make a video on it, and the fact that Smash Ultimate gameplay is in my intro. I'm a really big fan of the game and want to make a video on my top 10 favorite players. That's what I'm doing now. So, before we get into it, rules. This is not based on a tier list or how competitively viable the characters are. It's just simply just a video of my favorites and the ones they have the most fun as playing. Sure, if I absolutely suck at the character, I'm probably not going to follow with them and they're probably not going to be on the list. And also a disclaimer that anyone who's watching in the future, as of the time of me scripting and recording this video, the latest fighter added to the game was Piranha Plant. So you're going to complain about Joker not being here or any other really cool DLC fighter that gets added in. Note that this was made, that was made great English there. This was made before any real DLC fighters were released. Without further ado, let's settle it in Smash. Coming in at number 10 is, starting off with one of my favorite newcomers, King K. Rool. Now, King K. Rool is one of my favorite villains in all video games. So yeah, generally I was excited to try him out, and I think it's fair to say that I was not disappointed by how much I liked him and I actually played the game. He is, if you couldn't obviously tell, a heavyweight character with a surprisingly good recovery, which is part of why I like him, because most heavyweights, with one, maybe two examples, like maybe Donkey Kong and maybe Ridley, depending on how you look at it. Yeah, besides that, there's not really any heavyweights that have spectacular recoveries, which King K. Rool has, and he has a counter. Like, if you have played or even played against any of the Fire Emblem characters, you know that counters with good timing can be devastating. And my general playstyle, with a few exceptions in fighting games, is usually heavyweight characters that can do a lot of damage, which King K. Rool fits to a T. He's even got some decent range with his neutral B and side B, so yeah, not much else to say. As for why he's so low, is that I only started really playing him a lot recently before the final draft of this video was made, so yeah. If I didn't start playing him a lot more before the final draft was made, Wolf would have been at the spot for anyone who's curious. Time for number 9. And next up, we've got the frog boy who got into Smash Brothers before his own game came out, Greninja. Greninja first came out, I love him as a Pokemon personally, but I could never get to grips with him like as a fighter, so I was never the biggest fan of him. That was until Smash Ultimate, where by the fact that he's my 9th favorite fighter in the game, you should probably realize that I've gotten good with him. Just like a rule, he's got a counter, and like I said earlier, even though I'm filthy casual when it comes to fighting games, I do know some of the ins and outs of competitive, and if I do ever play a serious or competitive match, you know a bit. So yeah, well-placed counters can be devastating. I'll go more specifically into it in my next entry, I believe. Yeah, Greninja. He's also got decently good range, which, even though I'm more of a get close and personal guy when it comes to this game, if I need to, I will fight range. There's a lot of characters on this list from what I think I remember do have decent range, with maybe 1 or 2 exceptions. Got a good recovery, and like I say, I like him as a character, which is another big factor, as if I don't like them as a character, I'm probably not going to be interested in playing as them. Greninja, well, from now on, unless we get a super cool Pokemon fighter for DLC, probably remain as my favorite fighter from the Pokemon series in Smash Bros. You keep being sneaky, you frog person. So coming in at number 8 is Ike, my favorite Fire Emblem character. In the game, that is. Are the ones that are playable. Obviously, as he's my Fire Emblem rep. And sure, while his recovery isn't the best, he hits like a freaking truck, man. He hits like he's a heavyweight character, but as you can tell from him being a Fire Emblem character, he's a sword user. And his side B is good. Almost everything's good, and there was just one match, well, technically 2, that solidified Ike as one of my all-time favorites. For this one, just because of a well-placed counter, only enough, the characters with counters are the first 3 that appear on the list. I won a match. But I have killed with Ike's counters before at 0%. I am not making this up. I wish I could actually record footage for you guys off my Switch, that is, that actually showed that, because God, did I feel great demo. I didn't win that match, but the fact that I got a 0% kill just because of a counter just blew my mind. Well, a lot why I like Ike is due to personal experiences more than me liking the character overall, because I haven't played Ike's game in the Fire Emblem series. He's a character I like in Smash at the very least, and in my personal experiences, I don't think a Fire Emblem character, even if they add one DLC that's not a sword user, for the sake of variety, will ever top. And next up, we have another sword user, and the final sword user. Well, there's technically one other character on the list that you could kind of consider a sword user, but doesn't directly use a sword, so I don't count him. And my favorite sword user in the game is Link. As for why I like Link, he has had a few changes. Some for better reasons, and some that aren't so good. For example, he can no longer grab with a hook shot, as he no longer has it, as this is based off his Breath of the Wild incarnation, where he doesn't have it for some reason. But a better one is he has remote bombs, which is the reason I prefer him over young Toon Link. Because while they are still fun to play, remote bombs just offer better range. And the dare, I believe it is. When it comes to airs and meteors, I'm honestly not that great with them, with their actual name. But like, basically, the sword hop from a Zelda 2 move is really freaking good. And like some other characters on this list, Link's got good range. Well, like I said, I'm more for getting up close and personal. Link can handle both really well with remote bombs, boomerangs, and his bow. And of course his smash, meteor, and air attacks do help, with his up B, of course. And yeah, not much else to say here. He's my favorite sword user. Oh, and another thing, if you do stand still while getting hit by a projectile, there is a chance that the shield will just block the projectile, which is just good, so that can help you avoid damage. But when you're playing online with people, that's very unlikely to happen. So yeah, moving on. So coming at number 6 is Dark Pit. Now, while Dark Pit isn't nearly as hated as he was in Smash 4, a lot of people don't give him the recognition that, in my opinion, he deserves. In my opinion, he's a lot better than Pit if we're trying to be competitive arses. But anyway, I just prefer Dark Pit because he can do a bit more damage, and like I said, I'm 1 part of the damage, and Guardian Orbitars is actually a really good shielding move, though I don't usually take advantage of it because for some reason my playstyle is so offensive that I forget that shielding and shield moves are a thing. On his up B kind of sealed him at a decently high spot for me, because if you ask me, the power of flight for both Dark Pit and Pit are the best recovery or just up B move in the entire game. Again, that is just an opinion from a casual player, but I guess from my experiences, Dark Pit and Pit have the best recoveries in the entire game. And with the electroshock arm, while there are times where I'm not sure what else to do and I do end up spamming it just a bit, because it is easily his best method of damage, the silver bow does offer range, and he does have good air and meteor smashes, as I generally, funny enough, a day before making the final cut for this for the ordering of this list and all, I had this match with one of my best friends. We were hanging out for the day, and he was Pac-Man, I was Dark Pit, and the match actually went on for a surprising amount of time. Yeah. There was another one of our friends who was playing as Link, but like he survived like a minute or two. Well, me and my other friends, Pac-Man versus Dark Pit, basically went on for like 10 minutes. I'm not even making that up. But yeah, Dark Pit's a good character, I think. Even though he's not as hated as he used to be, still gets a fair bit of unjust hate. And it's fine if you prefer Dark Pit. I meant to say it's fine if you prefer Pit, or just don't like Dark Pit's playstyle, but generally I don't like it when people hate on fighters just because depending on your skill or your playstyle, you can make any fighter good. So coming in at number 5 was, in the past, my most wanted fighter in the entire series. Ridley. And if I was making videos, I should think I was, but if I was making any sort of reaction videos by the time Ridley was announced for Smash, you betcha I would have had a freak out reaction. Because, oh my dreams came true when Ridley was it. And the only reason I didn't vote for him in the Smash ballot is, even if I did, because Sakurai at the time thought he was too big, when there is a literal counter argument of Olimar, he should be said, oh, he's too small, but let's not get into a rant about things in the past. And anyway, I wasn't like old enough. I don't think my parents would have been okay with me doing something like that, even if it's just requesting a fighter to get in a game. So yeah, but Ridley though. Good God, do I love playing as Ridley. It's good range, a decent recovery, and in my opinion, Ridley is the new king of disrespect. I've actually done that move a lot to friends, and it was hilarious. Just, oh hey buddy, you made a good recovery. Side B, you pleb. And as you probably guessed, Ridley is a powerhouse. Like, dear God, the damage I've been able to rack up with Ridley, or even just fighting against Ridley, seeing how much damage was racked up, at times it's been insane. Once again, I wish I could even just show you images of this, but just gonna have to take my word for it. Overall, thank you, Sakurai, for putting Ridley into Smash. And now it's time for my favorite villain in Smash Brothers. Now it's not Ridley, it's Ganondorf, and if I still enjoyed playing Melee, probably what I would have as a main, as back when I enjoyed Melee, Ganondorf was my main. While he hasn't been the best ever since Brawl, I still always enjoyed playing as him. Sure, he was slow, but I like the metal ability, so that's not really that big of a problem. And just like several other characters on this list, he hits hard. And yes, he is a semi-clone of Captain Falcon, but now he's got his sword. which makes him a bit different. So I guess technically you could say he's another sword user, and yeah, I guess that would make Ganondorf my favorite sword user. But his moveset doesn't basically base around the sword. It's still mainly about stuff like the Warlock Punch, which is an insane move. And anyone who's seen any Smash 4 memes know that this boy is the king of disrespect. While Ridley may or may not have taken his throne, I'll still always enjoy kicking butt with Gerudo King Ganondorf any and all days.
Still unnamed, bear this torch against the cold of the night.
Remember when I said Link was my favorite sword user? Even if you did count Ganondorf, even if you don't count Ganondorf, I still kinda lied, as Meta Knight has been actually one of my first characters that I really got into. Don't worry, I really got into him after Brawl, so it wasn't always cheap. That's what you're trying to say. I may be casual, but if the character's too cheap, I won't play them. Also, one of the reasons I like Meta Knight is, one, he's my favorite Kirby character, so even when I knew he was cheap, I didn't care. I wanted to play him because he's my favorite character from one of my favorite platforming series. And, well, he's just badass, and I'm not gonna lie, some of his grabs are hilarious. His down throw, where he just throws your fighter on the ground and just continuously steps on them. Also, in my opinion, he has the best victory quotes. I honestly don't know why I think this, I just do. And I can actually get some surprisingly good combos with him. I'm not sure if I'm using him effectively if we're trying to be competitive, but like I've said several times throughout this video, I am a filthy casual, so competitive viability, unless the character is extremely cheap, is something I don't care about. Meta Knight is overall a character I like in his own series, and love to play as ever since Smash 4.
Still unnamed, bear this torch against the cold of the night.
Now my secondary, which for now, as I might get a second, well, not a second, but a new secondary when some more of the DLC comes out. Who knows, it could be Joker, it could be whoever else gets in the game. But for now, it's Piranha Plant. For a reason, I don't have any sentimental connections with the character, as it's a Piranha Plant. I just like him because he's fun as hell to play as. And I am surprisingly good with him. My secondaries and mains, while I can't do amazing, if I did take them into a competitive match, I would be able to do decent with them. And I just, like I said, I just love him. He's funny as heck, he has feet, and I do like that Brawl reference for his final Smash. And outside of Mr. Game & Watch, who isn't on this list just because I'm decent with him at best, there's not really much I can say about that. He is probably one of, if not the most fun characters to play this game, and I'm glad to have him as my secondary. I would make a Plant Gang joke here, but considering he's my secondary, he's been beaten by someone who I value more as a fighter. So, without further ado, let's go meet that special someone.
Touch your soul and reawaken the undying light.
My number one favorite character to play as in the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. And my main is Sonic the Hedgehog. Ever since Brawl, he's always been my favorite character to play as. He's my most played character in every game unless my friends who play quite a bit take up the other slots of most played characters. Well, usually specifically on Smash Bros. 3DS, if I look at my records, easily my most played character is Sonic, and he is fun as heck. While he doesn't exactly fit my playstyle of hit him hard and not much else, he is one of the fastest characters, if not the fastest, on the entire roster. If there's anything and from my Pokemon preferences, the two things I value in something is speed and power, and Sonic hits decently fast, and the main determining for characters getting on this list or not if I'm phenomenally good as them, or if I guess they fit my playstyle to a T. It was if I have fun playing as them or not. And it doesn't boil down to me being a super powerful god when I play as Sonic. It boils down to he's been the most fun character to play as ever since I first played Smash Bros. And I really just love this guy. Whenever I open up Smash, the first character I always want to play as is Sonic. And hopefully it can stay that way forever. This has been Dementia's Pawn, and before I go, next time, the first part in a new series. Ciao.